A commercial Chinese firm named Landspace launched its UK-2 rocket late Tuesday and made history as the first company to send a methane-fueled launcher into orbit, beating a bevy of U.S. vehicles to the milestone. Landspace launched the UK-2 rocket at 9 p.m. Eastern Time Tuesday, 1 o'clock Universal Time Coordinated Wednesday, from the Jiuquan spaceport, a military-run facility in the Gobi Desert of northwestern China. The company called the launch a success in a press release, and publicly available U.S. military tracking data confirmed the rocket reached an orbit at an average altitude of about 280 miles, 450 kilometers. The flight mission was completed according to the procedure, and the launch mission was a complete success, Landspace said. The UK-2 rocket is the world's first liquid oxygen methane rocket that successfully entered orbit, and it is also the first launch vehicle in domestic civil and commercial aerospace to successfully enter orbit based on a self-developed liquid engine. The UK-2, Vermilion Bird 2, rocket is relatively small compared to other methane-fueled rockets in development in the United States. In its current form, the 162-foot-tall, 49.5-meter, UK-2 rocket can loft a payload of about 3,300 pounds, 1.5 metric tons, into a polar sun-synchronous orbit, a destination favored for many Earth observation satellites. SpaceX test-launched its huge methane-fueled Super Heavy booster and Starship launch vehicle from Texas for the first time in April, but the mission was terminated before it reached space. When operational, the reusable Starship vehicle's payload capacity will be 100 times that of the Chinese UK-2 rocket. Relativity Space launched its smaller Terran 1 rocket from Florida in March, but the upper stage engine misfired a few minutes after liftoff, preventing the vehicle from reaching orbit. Relativity has retired the Terran 1 design to move on to the much larger Terran R rocket. United Launch Alliance's Vulcan rocket, Rocket Lab's Neutron launch vehicle, and Blue Origin's New Glenn, all partially or fully fueled by methane, are also in various stages of development. Landspace's first launch attempt in 2018 used a solid-fueled rocket design called UK-1 that likely employed propulsion technology from the Chinese military's fleet of ballistic missiles. After one failure with the UK-1, Landspace moved on to complete the development of the larger UK-2. Engineers at Landspace are developing an improved rocket that the company says will haul payloads of up to 8,800 pounds, 4 metric tons, into a 310-mile-high, 500-kilometer, polar sun-synchronous orbit, more than twice the capacity of the current UK-2 design. Landspace is also working on a variable thrust, reignitable version of the TQ-12 engine that will enable propulsive landings of the first-stage booster. Space policy reforms implemented by the Chinese government in late 2014 opened the door for private capital to begin funding new satellite and launcher companies. China's space program has historically been managed by state-owned organizations. Landspace was established in 2015 and has raised more than $300 million from a mix of venture capital firms and investment funds backed by the Chinese government. Another quasi-commercial Chinese rocket company, Space Pioneer, became the first privately funded Chinese launch operator to reach orbit with a liquid-fueled rocket in April. Unlike Landspace's reliance on self-developed engines, Space Pioneer's Tianlong-2 rocket used kerosene engines provided by a subsidiary of the China Aerospace Science and Technology Corporation, the main government-owned contractor that oversees China's space program. A larger rocket on Space Pioneer's roadmap, Tianlong-3, is scheduled to debut in 2024 with a lift capacity similar to SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket. The Tianlong-3 is designed to eventually have a reusable first stage. Some of the new generation of privately funded Chinese rockets are well-sized to deploy China's 13,000 satellite Guoang network to provide broadband internet connectivity, a potential analog to megaconstellations like OneWeb and SpaceX's Starlink.